I would be a far more obnoxious version of me. Didn't realise we were live. There we go.
Oh, that's perfect. It's just perfect. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Blue or Broad Show. It is Monday, the 27th of May, 2024. We've played an up-and-coming Gold Coast Sun side, so I thought I'd bring in an up-and-coming Carlton correspondent, Mr.
Yeah,
Ari
nice.
Stamatakos, really just revealing their colours as we go live. How are you, mate?
That was a good description. I might put that in my LinkedIn bio. Yeah, Carlton correspondent. I like that.
Yeah.
I'm very well. It's an honour. It's a pleasure to be on.
It's
Got
good.
the call up. This is the main show.
Yeah, this is the main show. And I think, you can be you. I think it was quite ironic that the last time we had you on the channel, you were talking and posting about your Charlie Curnow comparison, and then the first words we hear you say is, I'm obnoxious.
No. I said I'd be far more obnoxious if something was the case, but it's not. So yes, there you go.
This is dangerous territory to have do content with you twice in a week. Very dangerous, but I'm here for it.
Yeah, no, this is real. I don't know. Probably by the third quarter of the reflection show tomorrow, we might get into some real delirious sort of territories.
Yeah. Well, look, it's a short week. We've got we've played a game on Saturday, 5-day break into the Port Adelaide away. So, got to keep things spicy. So that's why you're here. How are you, mate? What's going on? How's things?
I'm okay. I'm good. Ticking along. Uni towards the end of the semester, which is great.
Wow.
I get 6 weeks to do nothing. It's just the best life.
I feel like you just had your holiday.
Yep.
Not
complain.
Those were the days, mate. Those were the days. Yeah.
Back in the 40s.
Back in the 40s, mate. Those were the days.
So apart from that, enjoying life.
Very good. Did you know that we are brought to you on the Blue or Broad Show by Cannoleria? Did you know that?
It's above my head. It's right here. Right there.
Right there. Have you ever had a cannoli?
No, can't say that.
Never had one?
No. I'm not cultured like you.
You've never had a cannoli? I feel like that's impossible. Someone at some sort of Greek wedding engagement function would have had cannolis around, surely.
Probably. I probably have, but probably not knowingly. If that makes sense. Like, I haven't sat down and be like, that is what I'm eating. I just probably
It's like, what's the Greek dessert? The toilet paper, but pastry and honey. Oh, do you know what I'm talking about?
Not really.
Cylinder, but we have it empty.
No.
Anyway, it's that with custard in the middle. It's great.
Oh, yes. I know what it is. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really good, though.
Yeah. So, anyway.
Are they nice? I assume they are.
They're delicious. They have a stall at the South Melbourne Market, and we are soon to be revealing where a new location will be. Can't wait for that. That's going to be very exciting. But nonetheless, we thank them for their support. We're going to have a fun show tonight, ladies and gents. We're going to go through round 11. We're going to get you all in the chat to give us a summary. We're not going to do the 3-word summary anymore. We're going to elevate the experience. We're going to let the chat get involved a little bit, deeper. I feel like we're limiting them. So we'll get you guys to give us a summary of round 11 as Ari kicks us off. Ari, what happened in round 11, mate? What was going on?
Very mature performance.
Oh,
very mature win.
Okay.
We started well. They came back as they would, because they came because they're a good side, quality side with some talent up forward, some firepower, which got a hold of us a little bit. Weathered the storm, flexed our muscles where we needed to, and had to really mature, nice win. It wasn't like a 5-goal flurry in 7 minutes. It was just a nice, good, mature, solid performance. And I'm being told in chat to say that Cowan was robbed. I don't know, robbed of what?
Robbed? What happened?
Rising star, maybe? I don't know.
Was he eligible? I thought he had to play less than 10 games.
I don't know.
Wasn't that the rule?
Okay. I'm assuming, yes, rising star. Tori's saying rising star.
Yeah, but don't you have had to have played less than 10 games to be eligible?
No way. 10?
Yeah.
I don't think 10. 10's a small amount of games.
Anyway, Cowan was robbed. Thanks, Tori.
Oh, now Tori's backtracking. This is interesting.
Yeah,
This is
she's
great.
backtracking hard. Thanks, Tori.
Thanks, Tor. Appreciate that.
Anyway, back to round 11.
Yes, back to round 11. Good, mature performance. I was I wouldn't say nervous heading into the game because I'd always thought that despite the storm that was inevitably going to come at some stage, we'd be able to weather it. And it was just about how we were able to respond with that. And I think our kind of back into the third and start of the last, we did well, and like our leaders stepped up when they needed to. We flexed our muscles when we needed to. Charlie stepped up. Cripple was good all day. Saw Tom DeConnie have a little bit of a coming of age game as well. So yeah, no, I was really, I think proud, maybe a little bit of a stretch because I think we all expected the result that happened pre-game. But yeah, no, just really content, happy, good response, and I think we've set ourselves up for the 5-day break. It wasn't a dogfight all the way to the end. We got that. And I also think that's probably part of the rationale as to why we basically stopped playing with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah. Yeah, we got up by what was it, 47? 48? Yeah. It felt like the damn wall was going to burst. We were dominating them in every statistical way. And, when was the point where you think the damn wall broke? I'm curious as to when you felt it. You were there, right?
Yeah. It was in that run in the last, definitely. That start of the last, because it was one of those games where we were set up for like the first goal of the last quarter was like pretty important, and I think Cripper's goal was good. I thought once he kicked the first, I was like, okay, I think we're on here. I think when Williams probably kicked the goal, kicked his fourth, didn't kick one after that, where he like ducked it, probably should have got a high free kick, but didn't. Kicked it over his head. I go, right, we're that should be that, all things going well. But I did have visions of Freo kicking 5 goals in 7 minutes the night before, and I was like, oh no, this can't happen, surely.
No, this can't happen again. Yeah.
And when Bailey Humphrey's kicking him from the boundary at like throwing the eye of the needle, I'm like, surely not. But no,
it's the second year in a row that a Gold Coast player has kicked a late goal of the year contender to a silent reaction from the crowd.
Yes, Levi Casbolt last year, which we touched on last week in our show. But it was a pretty good goal. Got to give credit. Credit's due. Can't play.
I think the breaking of the damn wall happened just before 3/4 time when we were awarded our second or third free kick. The bullshit chant started, reverberated around the stadium, and then I think Mitch McGovern was paid a free kick to one of the loudest jeers I think I've ever heard at the football. It was amazing.
It was that back-to-back free kick, that push on
That's
Gov,
right.
And then the kick on the wing. Cripps got the free, and then we went down the other and kicked the goal. That was probably I agree. I think it's 13 free kicks to 2. 13 free kicks to 2. That's halfway through. That's towards the end of the third quarter as well. That's an absurd number. That is an absurd number. But that was one of the funnier moments of the game, and I think that probably adds to the kind of contentment I have in a little bit in a sense of the win, because everything was going against us. Thanks, Tori.
Yep. So we're back to this. Cowan was robbed. Thanks, Tori. Appreciate it. He was robbed.
Robbed. Moo.
What else did you see from this game? Themes, issues. Did you take something from the game and think, okay, let's use that moving forward?
I mean, how long do you want to talk about Zach Williams is the real question.
Mate, you're the guest. Let's go.
I think it wasn't necessarily more about what he did for the team. Like 4 goals, great, right? A couple of important goals, kicked the first, kicked a couple. When the game was in the balance, whatever. It was just seeing him play with confidence, because he's such I wouldn't say underrated weapon, but he's such a important part of this team with his talent, whether that be forward or center, in the middle, off half back, in the back pocket, wherever he plays, he has the talent, right? His talent isn't necessarily restricted to him playing in a certain position. So wherever he plays, if he gets that confidence up, if he's playing with a smile on his face, playing freely like he was, I thought, okay, this is a good sign. This is a good sign because regardless if he stays forward for the rest of the year, if he moves back to halfback, if he moves into the wing, wherever he goes, if he's playing with confidence, he's going to play well. He's just one of those players where, regardless of where he plays, because he has the natural talent, he'll play well as long as he's confident in his abilities. And I think Weeders may have come out and said post game that he was struggling a little bit with confidence towards the start of the season, and the position change kind of just helped him play a little bit freer, kind of relax his shoulders, put your chest out, realize how much of a gun he is, and to actually just perform well, seeing the smile on his face when he marked that ball before he even kicked the goal for his second goal. I thought, looking back on the replay, was pretty wholesome. So yeah, he's, regardless of if he stays forward or not, I think that's probably another conversation we can have. But having a confident, having a confident Zach Williams playing, regardless of whether it's forward, on the wing, in the middle, defense, is a very, very handy asset for us. Very.
Yeah. There were a few roles like that on the day. We'll touch on them in a minute. But with Zach, we just spoke about it now in the rating show. What I loved about it, I do feel like it was significant because for the very first time, there was a bit of a breakthrough for him, confidence, smiling. Obviously, throughout the Sir Douglas Nichols round or period, it's been a 2-week period. Having the Guernsey designed by his cousin, like there's, it's kind of been about highlighting Zach and getting around him, and then seeing him with the dance and the celebration. Like, haven't really seen that from him before. Express himself. It takes a lot of comfort and confidence in your environment to express yourself like that, and I do think that is significant. I don't know what we do with that whole notion of him in the forward line moving forward, but hey, man, he just kept it simple. We said it in the rating show. No tackles. Fogarty does all the dirty stuff. He just played at the feet of Harry Mackay, drop of the ball, read it well, kicked goals, just put the fucking boot on the ball and directed it at the goals and just made the magic happen. It's amazing.
Yeah, and it's amazing what can happen when simple football is done well.
Right?
Wasn't complicated. He wasn't reinventing the wheel. At the fall of the ball, picked up the ball, kicked the ball towards the goal, and it went in 4 times. It's really not rocket science. Like, this game, we overcomplicate it, and we kind of try and make people do things that they're just not meant to do, when really the game is quite simple. And I think just seeing him smile, like, it's something so simple, but seeing him just be, you could tell. I mean, you reckon if you would ask him, is that like one of the happiest times he's had playing a game of football? I'd probably say he'd be up there.
Probably.
Because he just looked like he was enjoying himself. And that's when you're in that flow state, you're mentally in a good state, your body and your mind are in sync, and it just works. And if he stays forward,
Aristotle,
he stays forward, but
just reaching deep into the philosophical parts of your ancestry. I like it.
Thank you. Yeah, no, I'm a man of many talents. I'm a man of many talents, as we've seen.
The other one was Alex Cincotta. I thought that was another lever that was pulled, playing him. I mean, we've seen him play lockdown roles before in our backline on a small forward. We haven't seen much, if any, of him do the same role in the midfield on an opposing two-way runner like Tuke Miller. What would you make of that?
Well, I saw him warm up with the forwards pre-game, and I was like, hold on, this is strange. Because actually, no, sorry, I lie. He was warming up with the midfielders. I lie. Ignore me. He lined up. Sorry, I try not to lie. I apologize.
Sorry, what are you lying for? Like, come on, go.
You're funny. God, you've ruined it. You've ruined it.
Go on, mate.
He was warming up with the midfielders and lined up at centre half forward, right? And obviously, I know that we roll up one up at the stoppage. I didn't think he was going to play forward, but I was like, oh, that's an interesting move. My mind initially went, when I kind of realised that he was playing a negating role, I kind of thought it'd be to someone like a Noah Anderson, someone with a little bit more outside run, assuming Cripps and Rao would go head to head, which they did. I thought like having someone like him on someone who can have a little bit of outside run was probably the play. And then when I saw him go to Tuke even, I go, okay, that's interesting, because he can damage inside outside. He's a very good like 2-hour runner, like you said. So I wasn't necessarily surprised that we had pulled that kind of lever in a sense, but I was probably a little bit more surprised about how much it worked, because he won the battle, in my opinion, right? I think that's a consensus. If
Won
you
the battle, mate.
yeah.
I don't think Took was a factor.
Well,
in
yeah, that's like even
you
as
know?
I was speaking, I'm trying to remember things that he did, and I know he's not necessarily a flashy player that's going to like take the ball out of stoppage and kick a goal from 50, but like you still notice his impact when he's given the license to roam, and he wasn't. And he's that player that you, he, in order to stop Gold Coast like outside run, you stop it from the source, and we stopped it from the source in Cripper's battle with Real and Cincotta absolutely nullifying Miller. So I don't know if that's going to be the go moving forward because there's not a lot of players like Took in the league. He's a little bit unique in the sense where he's so physical, but he's also such an endurance athlete. It can go both ways.
Yeah.
So do we reckon we keep him for? Do we reckon we have that card just to play on players like him, or I mean, versus Port, do we send him to Butters?
Yeah, I mean, I think Wildy said it in the chat earlier, just before. You know, you play 24 rounds, you play 22 or 23 of them. You find things throughout the year that you might use in finals. And I can't help but feel like we did that with Cincotta. Do we try it again with Zach Butters? I think so. I mean, sure. I think no matter what, if you're playing on Alex Cincotta, whoever you are, you're an opposition player, you know you have to be at your best to beat him. If you walk off the field and you say, I beat Alex Cincotta today, you must be exhausted because he defends for his life. He plays for his life. He plays every minute on that field and every possession like it's his last. And you need more people. We need more people like playing with his attitude. So, yeah, I mean, in theory, he can make it hard for anyone to play well.
Yeah, it's the selflessness of the role. It's the role that no one wants to play. Like you hear players kind of you hear players like who are retired and come out and say when they're first given the tagging role, they kind of don't want to perform well because if they perform well, they're going to keep doing it, and it's no one really wants to do it. But I think what he was able to show on the weekend was like even when he plays in defense, not the flashiest footballer. He's not an Adam Sard. He's not these type of guys who will like change a game and do stuff like that. But he stops the opposition from changing a game, and that's arguably more important, especially when you have players like on the weekend. I saw Rosie was in doubt, but let's just say he plays like Rosie, Horn-Francis, and Butters all have the capability of changing a game like that. And if Cincotta can go to one of them and completely negate that influence, all of a sudden we have one less kind of asset that we don't have to worry about in a sense. Really selfless, and it's something we haven't had. Obviously, Ed Kerno did it as well, but he kind of towards the latter end of his career, he probably didn't do it as much. And it's something we haven't really had, that like proper tagger. And I mean, if I was to ask you before this round, if we had to tag if we had to assign a tag to a player, who would be our tagger? Would you have said Cincotta?
For sure.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a midfielder that's being played as a back pocket, right?
Yeah. I get that. I understand that notion.
Yeah, I think in general, he absolutely. I'm glad we finally did it.
Interesting. Okay, fair enough.
Who would you have said?
He's not fit. Yeah, he would. He's almost the natural choice because he's obviously naturally a defensively minded midfielder who tackles a lot, which is important. I know he's not fit right now, but Matt Cottrell, just in terms of like someone's running capacity, and also the ability to, when you get the ball, to actually have some sort of an influence with it. So yeah, they're probably the two. I obviously know Cottrell's not fit, and also you don't really want to take Cottrell out of that high half forward role because he does it so well. So yeah, they're probably the two. Hewitt and Cottrell, maybe.
Did you say that Rosie's in doubt for this week?
I saw on Fox Footy that he hurt his ankle, played out the rest of the game, but coming off a 5-day break, you don't know.
Got him on the thumbnails. Disaster. Anyway.
Yeah, that's the main thing, guys. Perry doesn't actually want Carl to win. He just thinks about the content.
No, but it's the aesthetic. It's the aesthetic of getting the right player.
Yeah, right.
I'd rather it be a Port player than us, that's for sure. So
I'd rather it be no player, but yeah.
Yeah. So the next one I want to talk about is the Ruck conversation.
How long have you got?
Oh, mate, I've got all night. There's no limit. You can talk. So
I don't like talking, as we've established.
No, I think it's such a we're so quick to draw a conclusion. We have a recency bias. Maybe that's just the nature of sport fandom. It looked awesome. We played against a Sol Ruck in Jared Witts. De Koning played arguably his best game in the ruck of his career.
Be hard to
Does
dispute
that mean that Pito is a non-factor anymore? Or does it mean that Tom had an awesome game and more times than not, it's got to be Tom?
It's really difficult. It's really difficult because I think the stat that's floating around is like we're 5-0 with De Koning as the number one ruck and like 2-4 with Pito or something. But I think the opposition is a factor because Pito was playing when we had that horrid run with Geelong and like Collingwood and these like Sydney last week. So like I think that skews it. So I'm not gonna read too much into that. I think in my opinion, they offer different. Like what they offer in the ruck is different, but they offer relatively the same in terms of output. Totally. Would you agree with that? From them being purely like ignore what they would do outside of being a ruckman, from their pure ruckman kind of role, would you say that? I'm not saying that their output is kind of the same in terms of what they actually do, but their total output, what they give to the side, is relatively similar.
As in combined?
As in when they're both playing as a number one ruck separately.
I don't think I've seen Pito play number one ruck without Tom much.
Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. Like that's what I'm saying. Like when Pito plays, and obviously when Pito plays, he's the guy. Like he doesn't really float forward all too much, right? Tom is more that second ruck. He's the Jackson to Pito's Darcy in a sense.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that when Pito plays that role, his output is more or less than when Tom plays without Pito, if that makes sense?
I do think it's more or less. When they're both in form and playing in the same team, we have the third tall option because De Koning if he's playing well in that role, it means he's hitting the scoreboard. Now, this week didn't matter because we got the third forward option in Zach Williams. But yeah, I just think having watched the club for so long, this reminds me of what we didn't have with Cruiser. Pito can help Tom get through a full season and stay fresh to make sure that when it's finals time, we've got to win one game. Maybe it is just Tom, you want to beat certain teams. I just think there's probably 3 to 5 teams in the league that you have to definitely play Pito for. But I think more times than not, it's Tom. I just don't think it's Pito and you discard. Sorry, I just don't think it's Tom and you discard Pito completely. It's a good problem to have because they're both in career best form.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. It's a good problem to have. Yeah,
it's a great problem to have. It's the problem you want to have.
To a certain extent, I wouldn't jump at in an ideal world. In an ideal world, Mark Pitney's in an ideal world. In an ideal world, either one of these two situations happens. Mark Pitney plays the number one ruck, and Tom De Koning averages a goal and a half a game and 14 touches and 6 marks, which he doesn't at this stage playing as a third forward. Or Tom De Koning plays as the number one ruck, has a game similar to what he showed last week. Harry, Charlie do combine well, and then you get goals from Cripps, Kennedy, Williams, always on a consistent basis, which unfortunately we're not getting. So in theory, I do agree it would be a good problem to have if the whole situation, because when Pito doesn't play, it doesn't just affect De Koning. It affects the whole forward line mix because he's not there as much.
Correct.
And when Pito plays, it affects a lot more in terms of the forward line mix because all of a sudden you've got a 201 centimeter bloke there as well. Who, what are you going to do with two 200 centimeter blokes in the reigning back-to-back Coleman medalist? In theory, that dynamic works, but we haven't seemed to find it out on a consistent basis yet.
Yeah, and I don't know if we see Cincotta play that role if Pito's in the side over the weekend. So it allowed us to do something else.
Yeah, probably not.
I like it. I like that there's no right or wrong. I mean, I like that it depends who we play. This week, I think it's going to be wet against the Power. I think I read some people saying.
But it's been,
you right
it's
there,
been
mate?
raining. Remember, it's been raining.
It's been raining.
It's
been raining for both teams, man.
So would you play it on opposition? Would you play it based on opposition?
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I think, no, like I said, I'll repeat, more times than not, I'm ready for Tom to take the mantle. Pito eventually will, I think, anyway. I mean, I don't know. I don't know anything. I'm wrong more than I'm right. In theory, I think eventually Pito helps Tom stay fresh throughout a season.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree with that sentiment in theory.
I mean, we all love and the idea of a ruckman dominating all year, getting all Australian, like that's all great, awesome. What I'm more thinking of is the long-term health of Tom. If we can get Tom playing an extra 3 to 4 years in his career because we have a contingency on the list and some depth in the position on the list, great. And where we are right now, I think with Tom is he's finally well and truly ready.
Yeah, absolutely.
To play in the ruck on his own. Like we're here. That time that we waited for, like it's arrived. This is where we're at.
Absolutely. I don't think anyone's questioning that. If you're questioning Tom's ability to play as a number one ruck, without Pito in the team, then I mean, I don't know what you're watching. With all respect.
No, not questioning. I just think it's
no, I'm not saying you are. I'm just
it's a good. I like it. I like where we're at. I like that we're finally actually, I'm wrapped. We're finally having this conversation because I think Pito was holding down the fort for a while. Tom was a bit still finding his consistency, but now we're at that point where you let him go. I mean, you play against I think is Jordan Sweet playing this week for Port or Vicentini?
One or the other or both.
Mason. So like I have no real issue with that there with Tom. And then you're coming up against a Goldstein who very experienced and can hurt you, but like Tom's.
Well, in theory, Tom runs all over Goldstein. It's I mean the athleticism rise. Personally, and I don't know if this is going to be a popular or unpopular opinion. I would love the club to. I think we're in a position now with our list and with our and with the backroom staff, in a sense, that we need to have a game plan. And obviously the extremes kind of I'm ignoring the extremes. So if it's, for example, torrential rain, then obviously you go shorter. If you're versing a team that has 6K forwards, then 6K backs or whatever, then obviously you make adjustments. But on a whole, I would love the club personally to pick and to stick by it and go, this is our game plan, whether it and this is what we're doing. Whether if that's Tom as the third forward and Pito in the ruck, great. If it's Pito plays VFL unless an injury or suspension, then great. I would, that's just my personal opinion, because I think you don't want to continuity within game plans and continuity within players is very important. And because of the drastic shift, especially next year, like if Jack Martin stays fit, Jack Silvani returns next year and stays fit, like that forward mix there's a lot of upheaval in that forward mix when DeConning's down there, because he's basically duplicating Harry Mackay, and they're not exactly fluid or dynamic players despite their talents. But that's just my personal opinion.
Got Paul Sebastiani here. I don't know if he's ready. I think he is.
Oh God, here comes trouble.
He's here. Paul,
can you hear me, gentlemen?
Yeah, we can. How are you, mate?
I'm very well, very well. How are you two fine gentlemen?
We are just having the ruck conversation.
Oh, yes. I was having this conversation with the great Nick Negropontis from SEN, and it's going to be of intriguing debate, I would assume, because Pito did the heavy lifting against some pretty decent opposition, and then TDK comes in against the Suns and just goes bang.
Well, we're just saying we waited a long time to get to this point where Tom's ready.
Yes. Good problem to have. I will go back on what Vossi said. I've got about 2 minutes until we're back on air, but he did say that TDK was going to be pitted as the number one, but that was about a season and a half, 2 seasons ago, so that may have changed from now till then. But yeah, interesting to see. Interesting to see how it all unfolds. It's nice to have the problem, though, isn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. Other themes and issues from the the round that was before we?
Not really, to be honest. Just nice to be back on the winners list and nice to have you going to Adelaide Oval this Thursday. Mate,
It's a
just
wet
bang,
night.
click of an eye, we're here Thursday night.
It's great. We're
5-day
back
break.
Yeah,
Bloody oath.
5-day break. And then I'm being told it's going to be a wet game.
Yeah, it will be. Yeah. So it's going to probably rain all day in Adelaide and then ease down in the evening. So I don't know how that's going to affect selection, but I would assume it will to a certain point.
Well, does that make the case for Pitto?
Maybe. Who knows?
I'd argue it.
I don't know.
Yeah, I'd argue it makes the case against him.
Against him,
potentially.
In my opinion.
Okay.
But once again, I'm not a selector, so
we'll see how we go.
Fair.
All right. I'm here for a short time, sweet time, but a short time. Tomorrow is episode number 100 of the Jumper Punch. I don't know how we've got there. I don't know how we've done it. We filmed our first show on a toothbrush and a potato. Yeah. So Rocco, Mars, and I, obviously a big thanks and big love to you, Terry, for giving us the platform to build and do what we've done and build up over the last couple of years. And without you and everybody, it wouldn't have been possible. So we're doing great things tomorrow night. Angie's going to make a guest appearance, and you can buy tickets to the Jumper Punch stage show at trybooking.com. So that will be run and won on June 15th at 6:30 p.m. at the Lazio Marquez Social Club United in Broadway Reservoir. Trybooking.com. That's where you can find tickets. I've got to get back on air, but I may join you in about 10 minutes' time again.
Sounds good. Thanks, Paul.
Ciao.
Wow, he's very good at that, isn't he?
Yeah, so it's almost like he works in radio.
He does that very good. You know what? It is a trumpet for the Jumper Punch.
I have an active dislike for the power you have over these sounds.
Well, you know what, Ari? The world is about tolerance. I have an active dislike for a lot of things that I see and hear as well, but it's about understanding that we are different.
I thought you were about to say me there. I was like,
you're part of that.
And
sometimes the world doesn't revolve around you, Ari. I hate to.
Oh no!
I know it's a shock.
It's a shock. You can't say that. You can't break the
mystique of it all. Is good for mental health.
Sure.
Tell you who else is good for mental health?
Yeah.
Jacob Wiedering is good for mental health.
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. So we've talked about the Ruck division. Anything else from the game?
I mean, like in terms of like positionally wise, probably
your mind. Anything that's 11 rounds now.
Zach Williams attended centre bounces. Sorry to go back to him, but he attended a couple of centre bounces. So
okay,
there's something. Elijah Hollands, very very prominent.
Yeah,
in the middle. So
I like.
Yeah, a lot to like. A lot to like.
How about Lockie Cowan's best game for the club? I like that.
He's really good, and the fact that we can move with the footy, unironically as well.
It's crazy, isn't it? Well, this is the part about the narrative which I think is getting. Well, it's first of all, it's been sparked by the mainstream because they've put the graphic scores from turnover or scores from defensive half with and without Mark Pittonet. When in reality, you've got McGovern, Kemp, Cowan.
Boyd.
Who's the other one I'm missing? As intercept players. Who's the other one? I've gone blank.
Boyd.
I guess, yeah. Sard as well. I think that's the formula for why we were able to score so well and so efficiently from the back half. I think it was 75 points from the back half or from turnover.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know the statistics. I don't know the exact score, but I felt like just on the eye test. I mean, I haven't watched the game back in fairness, but from the eye test on the first watch, it looked like one of our better games in terms of transition.
For sure.
Like just the fluidness, the ability, like the willingness to take the kicks on through the middle of the ground, not really being scared, and as well getting numbers around the ball. That's probably what the best transition sides do the best. It's not that their kicks inboard are always on point. It's that they've got 3 numbers around every single contest. So if it does hit the ground, they've got the numbers and they can springboard. So But yeah, I think it's just about the will to get to each contest and to be structurally set up in a place where this kick is going into this general vicinity. We're going to have 3 players there. Then this kick is going to go there, or this handball is going to go there, etc. And I think it was led by our skipper as well. I thought his kicking performance was very good, and his aggressiveness with the ball was something that I saw during the game. And I was like, he's on today.
Yeah, Patrick Cripps was that classic. 2/3 of his possessions were handballs. What you love to see.
Yep.
Just handballing his way out. So, all right, that's that. I want to touch on Ollie Hollands, young Ollie Hollands. How old are you, Ari?
I'm 20.
You're 20. When's your birthday?
April 28th, 2004.
Do you know Ollie Hollands is younger than you?
No, yeah, I know. Yep.
Yeah. Had a chat with Ollie today, went down to the club, and do you feel like when we watch the footy, players in their first year get that automatic pass, and then pretty much after year 1, that's it, you're held to the highest of standards?
I think there's definitely a certain aspect of that. I also think it's you can't write 18-year-olds off after one bad one, or like after 1 year, regardless of how they perform. So no, I definitely feel that. Yeah,
I was blown away with Ollie's ability to it was like I was talking to someone at least 10 years older. His ability to forget about his football ability for a minute, to stop and think and not just run, think before he spoke. I was really impressed. And he was talking about his, what's it like being a professional and what he's learning. He was talking about the little things like his sleep and how important sleep is. I didn't start investing in my sleep till I was 32 years old.
I should start.
You should start. I think Ollie's going really well for where he is in his career. And I think we have been way too harsh on him. And I think he is worth the investment.
Absolutely. I mean, we spoke about it a little bit with Cincotta not long ago about the selflessness and about doing the roles that not a lot of people want to do.
Yeah.
Everyone wants to be a Charlie Cone. Everyone wants to be a Patrick Cripps. Not a lot of people want to be a bloke running on the wing, covering running patterns, or doing running patterns, covering the fat side of the ground. Sometimes running more kilometers than they have touches in the game, and to run back to be a spare man behind the ball, and then having to run all the way up to create the outnumber in our offensive 50. It's him and Akers as well. It kind of goes in tandem, but for a second year kid to play that mature role so well,
yes,
is really, really impressive. Super impressive.
He mentioned his commitment to a couple of things before we even we didn't even talk about numbers and stats. His thing was his ability to get back and provide coverage defensively. So his running ability to do that, and then his ability to be an option on the overlap run. Those are 2 things you don't see on the stat sheet. And it just prompted me to think a little bit more about it. Why do we get so caught up in the result, the final statistic, the win? Why are we not able to understand there are 23 journeys within everyone that plays on any given day? Why does it have to be we should be there now? Why can't it be we are on the way to it? You have any idea about what I'm trying to say?
No, for sure. No, I'm definitely picking up what you're putting down. I think it's sports in general. I'm not even just talking about Carlton. I'm not even just talking about footy. Sports fans are quite fickle at the best of times. I think we're both guilty of that as well, despite how good we both think we are. So it's the emotion.
It's a forever journey too. It's not a we are perfect. It's a forever journey too.
Yeah, it's the patience and also the emotion. You're so emotionally invested that it can cloud judgment at times, and it can cloud kind of proper thinking. But when I think it's a good. I think when you kind of have to look to the club to kind of see how they feel about their own players, in a sense. The way that the club has gotten around a Hollands in the way that they have in terms of like basically thrusting him into a pretty big and important role, like in terms of the structure of the team, like that wing role. I mean, how many times have we, like in previous years, would be like, we need a wingman, we need a wingman, we need a wingman. All of a sudden, this 18-year-old kid comes up and he's like, oh my God, he's everything that we wanted. And now he's everything that we wanted, but we're still criticizing him and still invested in because he's not having 25 and kicking 2. It's the mature performances by the unsung players that really build the foundations for success. Mm-hmm. And like it in the same way that it doesn't, that an overnight success in any other industry can take up to 10 years for it to actually happen. It's not all of a sudden Ollie Hollands is going to turn around next game and have 20 touches and kick 2 goals, and that's going to be the standard from here on in. It's the progress and the because like success isn't linear, so it's all about the progress just holistically, what he's adding to the system, what he's adding to the side in terms of structure that allows players to be better, that allows Cripper to do what he needs to do, Chard to do what he needs to do, etc., etc., etc. And it's one of the more selfless roles in footy that he's doing expertly.
Yeah, I just think he's going well. I was aware of his maturity and I'd seen the work ethic from afar, but to actually sit next to him and I mean, he's younger than my brother. My brother's pretty mature. And this, like, I was talking to an old soul. Like, he's got such a head on his shoulders. And I think the way he spoke about who he's learning off, and you look at the environment around him, it kind of reinforced to me what we have at the club now. Like, he was saying, I've been picking Cripper's brain about this, Doc about this, Blake Acres about this. And I was like, wow, like you put his work ethic with the environment that he's around and the people who he's, absorbing knowledge from. Like, how can you not see it? He's in good, he's not there clearly, but
no,
he's
20.
He's 20. He's 20. He's 20.
He's got 12 years minimum.
He's 20 years old.
And if he's only going to improve, and we've got 12 more years of this minimum, I mean, come on, right?
Yeah. Because Blake, for example, started at Freo, chopped and changed his role, couldn't get settled, but played a lot of games. Goes to Freo. They basically say you have to play on the wing, otherwise there's no spot for you. Learns it. We now reap the benefits of that whole experience.
Yeah, for sure. And I think the one thing that kind of speaks out to me when I think about the wingers in particular is after that semi-final, when Acres kicks the goal, he does the interview post-game, and the first thing he says, or one of the first things he says, was it was all 3 wingers in the build-up to the goal. Hollands to Doc to Acres. And for that to be one of the first things you say, it's like, oh, you're not, like, your brain, I guess, is kind of transcends to the culture that you were speaking about. It's not, oh my God, I just kicked this goal, it's unbelievable. It's, oh my God, my 2 mates who I've gone through the whole year with playing on this horrendous position to play within the build up to that goal. It's like, for that to be front of mind says a lot about, because it's a lot about the subconscious kind of culture that's being seeped into the club, which, it's impressive.
Yeah.
Very impressive.
Sometimes you say things that just make me make me happy, make me smile.
Thank you. That's everything you say makes me smile, man.
Yeah. Okay. So that's Ollie. Be sure to check it out. It's a great chat, and he's a good man. We're moving on to Port. What are your initial feelings, thoughts about Port? What have you analysed about Port this season? Tell us. And those of you at home as well. Those of you who have watched the season unfold, but coming up to round 12, what have you seen about Port Adelaide? What are we dealing with?
For some reason, the first thing that came to my mind is the phrase downhill skiing, which I think is extremely harsh because I think they're a very good football team. However,
love it, Ari, you spiteful man. Love it.
No,
you're going.
No.
You're lighting a fire.
No fire being lit. The reason why that phrase comes to mind is because when it's going well for them, they look just unbelievable. When Horn Francis, Rosie Butters are on, it's just electrifying, right? And I'm not gonna. I don't like Port as much as you. So this actually says a lot coming from me, right? However, if they're 2, 3, 4, 5% off, the handballs aren't as slick, the kicks aren't as penetrative, the players aren't as quick, they're gettable. There's holes in their game plan, and I think Port fans will definitely be the first to admit this, right? There's holes in their game plan. They're in transition. They're kind of beatable in that phase of the game. Their stoppage work. I mean, Rosie Butters and Horn Francis are exceptional when the ball's forward to centre. When they need to do some defence, is there some holes that we can kind of poach there? We saw it. I mean, it kind of goes back to the two games in my head that spring out to me straight away when I think about Port is the game against Essendon earlier in the year where they completely torched them, demolished them, and we've gone on to see what Essendon have been able to do in the last kind of month and a half, and the game 2 weeks ago against Hawthorn where they should have lost the game, right? But
can't believe it. Haven't seen something like that.
It's the unbelievable, like astounding. But
the millimeters that everything had to fall into was just crazy.
It's stupid. But like for us to say that about Hawthorn, who are a fine side, but they aren't better than Hawthorn. I think we can say this with quite comfortability. They were winning for 99.99% of the game against Port, and we're up by 40 points or whatever it was at some stage. So they are definitely, even at home, definitely beatable. Definitely.
Yeah. Does the Adelaide Oval record have an impact in your confidence to do it on Thursday? Is it a factor?
The record was purely a number. It was the hoodoo. It was the mental block, and we've done it now. So I don't care. Players don't care.
I like it. Okay.
They've walked off that oval. They've walked into those rooms and they've sung the song. They don't care that it's 1-7. It could be 1-50. They've done it now, so it's fine.
Yeah. Well, this is one of those games. I mean, we've been talking on the ratings. We've been talking about, and this is the beauty of footy, because just when we think we've got the best 22 and the right mix, the midfield mix, Kennedy, Cripps, Hewitt, can't play all of them in the one midfield. All of a sudden, you've got a wet game. You need contested balls.
Yep. Yeah, you need players who can put their head over the ball.
Head over the ball, be clean in traffic. So having said all of that, do you have any suggested or expected changes to be made?
I'm very, very hesitant to speak about changes on a Monday because we all know what happens on Tuesday afternoons.
Nothing anymore. We've done that. We've gone through the hard part of that.
Yeah, we hope.
No,
we have. No, you're right. No, we have. No, you're right. We have. Yes. No, we have. We definitely have. So there's nothing that springs to mind. It depends what do they want to do with Motlop. If they want to bring him back in, you'll speak on the rating show about is that Fantasia or Owies. I don't think you can drop. I mean, Owies was subbed, so maybe there's an inclination that might happen. Is it Bins? I don't know. Do you play Carroll for the full game? If it's going to be wet and contested, you want a little bit more midfield rotation in order to keep players fresh, maybe. I don't think we're in a position right now where, unless someone's coming back in the team that I've completely over kind of missed in my head, or someone's returning from injury that I've completely missed.
Let me just
double check that.
Check on that.
Yeah. I think we back the boys in. I think we back them in.
I agree.
Yeah.
Let's have a look.
Because we haven't played a game in the wet. Well, assuming it's going to be wet.
A little bit against Melbourne, but not, like it wasn't.
Oh, yeah. I mean, drizzle. Like, come on. It's a bit of water. Yeah.
I would say there was a shower. By the end of it, it was raining. It's been raining. It's been raining. This is what it looked like.
That's a sound thing you should get.
Hang on. Okay. Let's bring up Paul Sebastiani's back.
That's a lot of names.
Wait, let me get rid of this for a minute and bring Paul back in.
Okay.
Paul.
Come on, Ty. Come on, Ty. Yeah, this is an interesting discussion.
Yeah.
I'll just keep it simple, stupid. I think we'll win on Thursday. I don't think Port's form efforts against North Melbourne is to be really scared of. I wouldn't have thought, to be honest. Hello, Christian. Hope you're doing well. I I think we're far more battle hardened than what they are. So I think
if I throw up 3 words to you, does it?
Mm.
Have you thought about this 5-day break?
It's a 5-day break for both teams.
Well, yeah, it's a 5-day break for both teams, and actually we get a few. Don't we get a few hours extra?
Oh yeah, because of the Adelaide time.
We get a few hours extra, don't we?
Great point. Did completely forgot about
that. Yeah, so it's not. Look, I get what people are looking at when they say 5-day break, but they've known they've had to have a 5-day break for how long? Yeah. You know what I mean?
And I think that's why they put the foot off the pedal in the last kind of
Yeah. Mitch is here. He said that Harry and Ben Mackay, it's been 9 years since they've played. Well, they've never played with each other, which is such an interesting thing as well. He reckons who's the one going to play.
I don't want to talk too soon, but it would make perfect sense for it to be while Ben's playing for Essendon.
As you know what, as much as I'm excited for Thursday night, right? And we have to take it one week at a time, right? Us as supporters and fans and players and all that kind of stuff, right? But I just cannot wait for next Sunday. I cannot wait for next Sunday. I can't wait, mate. I'm so excited.
Yeah. We're in the thick of it now, aren't we? In the season, this is the thick. There's no not enough sample size. There's enough sample size now. That what have you made of the comp in general?
I mean, how the ladder pans out, I suppose, at the moment. I'm looking at the bookies as well and looking at how they've panned out. I mean, they've got Sydney clear-cut favourite, and that's understandable. I mean, they're the yardstick at the moment, and we were shown up by a team that's just in scintillating form. But I mean, they're pretty fit outside of Callum Mills. They don't really have anybody else that's been injured. They've had a clean bill of health for pretty much a majority of the year, aside from maybe McCartan's been in and out of the team. But we're dealing with the first portion. What are we dealing with? We're dealing with ins and outs. 3, 4, 5 ins and outs on a weekly basis. We just can't get that team settled. And I think once we do get the team settled, I think we'll be fine. And I like how we won against the Gold Coast because it was a strong performance. So outside of the actual margin itself, and I actually think we exceeded expectation for a lot of people in this game. People were penning this game as Gold Coast. I know they don't travel away. They don't travel well away from home, but the market had us sort of like 2 or 3 goal favourite, and we've exceeded that and probably should have won by more, regardless of that. But I just don't see how Port Adelaide are lock, stock and barrel this Thursday night. I just think we win, to be honest. I just think we're a better football team than them.
I think, now that the ladder's up, I think you can throw a blanket over 2nd to 14th.
Yeah. Well, my take on it is that there's only 3 teams that can win the flag. That's just my it's us, GWS, and Sydney. That's my, and I've always been just piff the toy at me. No, I think there's only 3 teams that can win it. So I'll probably end up eating my words, but so what?
Interesting. Ari?
That's it.
I mean, I love the Swans and the Giants, so I'll tend to agree. If I had to disagree for the sake of disagreeing, I would throw, as much as I hate to say it, you got to put the Pies in there.
100%.
They can't win it. Can't win
it.
I mean, the injuries this week have been just like a different level.
They can't win it. They have not showed anywhere near enough this year to be considered it. I'm sorry, they haven't.
Okay.
Last year, yes, not this year. It's a different year, mate. Different year. You can't go based off last year. I'm sorry, you can't. They're not good enough this year. I don't care what anyone says, and they can clip it up, do what they want with it. But Collingwood, I really don't care, mate. I really don't care, to be honest.
Okay.
No, I really don't. I'm going to have to go in a moment, but again, episode number 100 tomorrow for the Jumper Punch. Again, I know I said it before, but thank you and much love to you, Terry, and everyone who's followed us and everyone who's still following us and may continue to follow us, and to new listeners and new audience. We love it all, and we're looking forward to a big, big show tomorrow night. And again, the stage show, you can book tickets at trybooking.com. $20 for a floor ticket, $55 for a table. It's a 3-course meal during the 15th, 6:30 p.m. If you want to come along, let us know. The link will be in our description on the show tomorrow night. So looking forward to it. And thanks to everybody in the chat as well.
our
Race
pleasure.
race 6, number 4 at Ballarat tonight as well on SEN track. Lidge Fly jumped in 2 minutes. Good luck. See you guys.
Amazing.
Much love.
Thanks, mate.
Ciao.
See ya.
Hooroo.
Ciao. Such a salesman. Such a salesman.
Mate, he could sell ice to an Eskimo.
Yeah, sure. I'm just gonna pretend to know what that means.
Yeah. Who are your contenders?
Yeah, I've been on the Giants for a while. I actually had them 7th preseason, and then I watched their first 2 games, and I go, oh no, this team's really good. So I think we can ignore their last 3 games. What they did on the weekend shows their quality. Sydney, obviously, Port question marks. Melbourne still have question marks. I think every team underneath Sydney has genuine question marks. I think the Giants are the next best, and I think we're slightly below with about 4 or 5 others. In my opinion.
There's been a bit of a chat after games lately about, are we a top 4 side? I mean, let's just look at it right now. Is which teams in this ladder right now, as where it sits right now, which teams are out of the top 4 race, in your opinion? I think anyone, from what I see right now, anyone in that top 8 can still clearly make top 4. I don't know why we would write any team off in that top 8.
No, I agree.
Fuck them.
They're 8-2. No one could possibly miss finals from 8-2.
I hate to break it to you, Ari, but it's been done before.
No one could possibly miss finals from 8-2. I think just because they've banked up the wins, you've got to still put them in there.
No, fair enough.
Count.
You bank the wins. Once you,
I mean, look at that form. Second best in the comp. That's
does Brisbane make a run?
No.
Is that it? No, they're done?
In the 8, maybe, not the 4. Not the 4. Chasing their tails. Too bad already. The Crows, 8, but maybe 8. Definitely not 4. Dogs, definitely 8, not 4. Suns and Freo, I'd be shocked. And 8 and above can all make top 4.
They've got 5 teams on the same points. I mean, the Pies with 2 draw. Like, it's crazy.
Yep.
Was it like this? I don't really remember. Was it like this last year? We were too busy sitting in 15th last year.
Yeah, I was going to say, we were looking at like North and stuff.
I wasn't even looking at the top 8 at the time.
Well, like, did Hawthorn win? Like, reach up there.
What do you guys think at home? How are you looking at home?
I also think, on a whole, it's a very. I don't want to say. You can use one or 2 words. You can say mediocre, or you can say competitive. I think both of those words are applicable for all the teams between 2nd and 14th, 13th.
Yeah.
Depending on what outlook you have. If you're glass half full, it's competitive. If you're glass half empty, it's mediocre.
It's mediocre. Where are you? What do you think?
Competitive.
I think it's competitive. Can't believe the Saints are where they're at.
They can't score.
They can't score.
They just can't score.
Yeah. Okay. Just one to keep an eye on. One to keep a really close eye on. The teams above us right now, I mean, the Pies and the Dogs, I don't know what's going to happen there. Anything could. The Dogs are in form. The Giants, you'd think they'd account for Hawthorn. Oh, nah. You can't. You can't just throw a blanket statement out like that right now, can you?
Well, it's over there, isn't it?
Yep, but Hawthorn are up and about. It's a big game. It's an 8-point type game, isn't it?
Yeah, very. No, very. I'm assuming it'd be over there. Oh no, well, actually, the Giants have the bye this week. First week of byes. So Hawthorn, So that's the week after. Hawthorn have the Giants in Tassie. So that actually could be competitive.
Okay. All right. Well, so we could. All right. Fair. All right. Any last thoughts before we wrap it up? Any other philosophical musings you'd like to share with us?
Do you want to prompt me and I can maybe dish something out, or?
No, mate, you're the genius. Go on.
Oh, I'm the genius. That's an honor.
Go on.
Coming from you.
Yeah.
That's
supposed to mean
what? It's an honor. Like, it means a lot. Like, I look to you as one that knows a lot about a lot.
What's the horse? What's the story of the horse?
Oh, it's the story of the horse. It's a mystery.
Okay.
Well, in all seriousness, I needed a footy-related thing in the background. And this was before I had this, courtesy of yourself. So I thought, let's get John Longmire.
Oh, John Longmire. Oh, that's right. Oh. Ari.
Bruh.
And this has been an ever-present for give or take 12 months.
It has. No, it's
and
cool.
it hasn't moved. Fits well.
So tomorrow, it's a crammed week. Tomorrow, you and I are going to be sitting live from 6 p.m.
Yep.
And we're going to do reflections. At about 7 p.m., the mid-season draft preview will come out. And then at 8 p.m., Footy Abroad will be live. So that's that. Wednesday, 5:30, I'll be here for teams. And then that'll be followed by the Navy Blue Corner. And then Thursday, it's game. It's game day. It's game night. We'll have the watch along. Fan cams will happen straight after the game. There'll be no waiting. Hopefully the boys are singing the song and then we can just jump straight into it. Final predictions, Ari? How are we going to go?
Carlton by 23.
Really? I'm not.
Oh, shock you're not confident against Port. What a surprise.
I'll tell you, in my head, when I looked at this fixture, I said in my head, we'll split Port Adelaide 1-1. So in my head, I'm like, all right, we'll beat them. We'll beat them in Melbourne. They'll beat us in Adelaide. That's how I said it to myself at the start of the year.
Okay. Tip
Not
Port.
to say we can't win on Thursday, but that's just kind of where I was at. But
Also, do you like Thursday night footy, by the way?
Sorry?
Do you like Thursday night footy?
Yeah, I mean, I love footy.
Okay. What if we played footy Tuesday at 10:30 at night? Would you like that?
What is it with you people, like just throwing hypotheticals, like the craziest hypotheticals, like
Well,
just
you said
to
you
get
liked
your
footy.
point across?
You
Yeah,
said
but like,
you
you know what I mean? You give me this, like, you give me the, what
If
do you
we
mean?
played Tuesday at 3 a.m., would you be at the J?
Mate, you give me any time, any place Carlton are playing, I'm there. No worries. No problem. I used to get up at 4:30 in the morning to watch them play. No problem.
That's great.
It is.
Prediction?
No, I think it'll be a really tight game on Thursday.
Part of me doing 23 points is the fact that I just can't do close games anymore. I just don't want to.
Yeah. Every time I've predicted us to win by like 5 goals or something, it's tight. Every time I say it's going to be tight, it blows out a bit. I think it'll be, yeah, I think we can start solidifying some form with the team being settled and having our best players there. And I think this would be a really big win just to start boosting morale. I do understand that we're in a bit of a holding pattern right now, just to get guys back. We might see Motlop and Chera and Martin in the team after the bye. So, yeah, the main thing is that 6-week period leading into finals, isn't it? That's when you want to time your run.
You either want to time your run that way, or you want to bank up your wins and do what Collingwood did and basically take the last month and a bit of the season off and prime yourself for finals.
Time your run.
Collingwood did it last year on the flag. So,
yeah, who did it before that?
We're in the business of qualifying.
Are we?
Yep.
Yeah. Well, you make top 4. How's this?
Yep.
So just cause. Sorry. Love watching, but I'm a Port fan. Thanks, mate. I tipped Port by 5, but Port haven't won against the Blues since Michael Voss became coach. Really?
Yeah.
So what? Let's just break this down. 2022, when did we play them?
Early on in the G. We were 45 points up.
Oh, 40. Yeah, okay.
Fisher kicked the goal from the pocket. Surprised I remember.
Yeah. We didn't play them again that year? No. 2023, that was last year. That was the game later in the year.
Yep.
No shit.
Got the hoodoo.
That is interesting.
And when was the last time we played Port at Adelaide Oval?
That would have been. Was that 2019?
No.
When was it? 2020?
Come on.
21?
Yes.
Oh.
Come on.
Oh no.
Pick up the phone.
David, pick up the phone, mate. Can you believe he's just sat there with his fruit and nut trail mix, just sitting there, biscuit ass, just sitting there watching it up? Nah, that pissed me right off. That's why I'm happy now. Look at where we've come from. Look at what this club has.
This is what we do every week. This exact thing. This exact conversation. Pick up the phone. Can you prepare that for tomorrow, please, so we can watch it?
I don't know if I want to watch it again.
Please, come on. Can you at least clip it and send it to me so I can watch it?
Why don't you go on YouTube and clip it and download it and do it yourself?
That's just an astounding. That would just be an astounding waste of time.
How much more work can I do for you, mate?
Clearly not enough.
How much more? How much more do you need?
A bit more would be nice.
Bit more. Wow. Okay. Fair. Well, I'll take on the challenge. I'll accept the challenge.
Because it's called a test.
Yeah, you challenge me to do something, I do it. I'm not like you. I don't like doing things the easy way.
That's a backhander.
You just want things given to you. This generation, mate. Back in my day, we worked hard,
Hey, if you don't ask, you don't get.
If you don't ask, you don't get. All right, fine. The answer is no. Do it yourself.
Okay, I won't. But I appreciate the answer.
We'll have something for tomorrow. But yeah, yeah. What game are you doing for reflections?
Are we spoiling it? Sure.
No.
I've got it locked in. I know straight away. I messaged you it. I've had this penned in for. It's my favorite home and away game in Carl's history. Oh, as it of my what I've said.
All right. For some reason, I'm remembering us wearing a white Guernsey and Mitch McGovern tackling Zach Butters, who tried to take him on in our forward line and pinning him, holding the ball. I think it was 2019.
Yeah, it was.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah. But we lost that game.
Yeah, it was Justin Westhoff's 200th milestone game of some sort.
Okay. All right. We're getting into real reflections areas.
Yeah, we're nerds at heart. It's great.
Yeah, it's great. Is there a stat for the upcoming game, mate? Because that worked last week, got the win.
For the upcoming game?
Yeah.
Oh, you're really testing me out here.
Yeah, mate, like I said, you have to accept the challenge in life.
When did Port come into the league?
1997.
Adelaide.
This will be easy. The last time an expansion team came into the league and played Carlton in round 12 of the 2024 AFL season.
No. You're they didn't play Thursday night footy back in 95. At what stage do we give up? At what stage does it become bad content?
You're going to get these done, right? Like, we're all waiting.
I'm not a magician, man.
You know what?
Wait. How much did we win by last week? 25?
29.
Oh. Yeah, no, I got nothing for you. Sorry.
Well, that's a bad omen. Maybe you can have something ready for us tomorrow. Maybe you can prepare something for us tomorrow.
No.
All right. Well, Ari, see you tomorrow at 6 p.m. Ladies and gents, thank you very much for tuning in. It's been a big night. Thank you to Cannoleria for sponsoring the Blue Broad Show. And yeah, Ari, thank you. And go Blues.
Thank you. Go Blues.